Hi, everybody. I came down to the church today, Monday, June 1st. Happy June. I came down here with a very troubled heart because, frankly, I just wanted to see for myself what's really going on. Came down to the church, and I have found a very calm atmosphere. I've talked to our friends in the shelter, our friends in New Hope Community who had a really rough night. They had a rough night because last night was really scary. There was a very peaceful rally that started at City Hall and marched from City Hall down to the Capitol, up to the Capitol. It was peaceful by all accounts. It was meaningful by all accounts. It was powerful by all accounts. And then, I don't know, it often happens that as the night goes on, it goes later into the night, there are people that just kind of get caught up in the emotions, or, we don't really know whether they're, some say there was outside groups coming in and taking advantage of the protests. It's complicated. Because if we say that it was only outside people, then what we're doing is watering down and not actually acknowledging the really deep pain that people of color are experiencing right now at this, in the deep racism and injustice being perpetrated that has been spurred on by, most recently, George Floyd's death. I don't know, because I wasn't here and I didn't see, but last night did get more violent, but it wasn't the type of violence that we've seen in other cities. For the most part, the city I've driven around, I've walked around, it looks okay. There's a few things that need to be cleaned up and they're being cleaned up, but really nothing terrible, no great vandalism. There's not been a ton of damage but there's an emotional damage. It was really scary. It's scary to have the noise from crowds running, the noise of cops and sirens and flashbangs and all of that. And so for our community that is sheltered here at the church, that was a really scary night, especially for those with PTSD. But what's more scary to me is here we are in 2020, and we are still so far from finding a way to dismantle racism, and we've just got to do it. My friends, we are called as Christians. As Christians, we cannot participate in the system that perpetuates and promotes racism. We can't. We've got to find a way. So here's a simple way, because I know that many of you are probably like me. I want to be a strong ally. I want to be an advocate. I want to make a difference, but sometimes I'm not sure how best to do it as a white person, a white woman, a woman of privilege. Historically, white women have been quite dangerous, actually. As dangerous, if not more dangerous, than white men in promoting racism and harm. I was reminded of that by a friend this morning. I was thinking about how horrible it is that this George Floyd was just allowed to die. He was essentially killed right in front of us. All of these witnesses, nobody doing a thing as he pleads, as he says, I can't breathe, as he cries out to his mother, as they just are not, just total silence. Nobody does anything. And of course we should be outraged. But you know, that video that emerged last week of the white woman in Central Park has really made me think too. After talking to a friend this morning about the roles that white women have played in promoting and perpetuating these horrible, harmful ways. That this woman, this white woman, without even thinking, really, it was just second nature. It seems so second nature to threaten a black man threaten that I will call the police and I will tell them that an African-American man is harming me. And she knew she had that power, that she as a white woman could make that one phone call and put him in his place. God. White women have been doing that for centuries. Black men have lost their lives time and time again over the accusations that white women have been willing to make. So I'm thinking about my privilege today. I'm thinking about mine. I hope you're thinking about yours. I want you to think about it. I hope you won't turn this video off. I hope that you will watch it, because we have got to change. We have to. We have to think about the ways in which we are racist, so that we can really fully be anti-racist, so that we can say we are recovering racist. Here's a step you can take today. Here's something we can do today. Here's something you can practice today and tomorrow, and is instead of just forming thoughts and feeling like you need to speak it, just when you are hearing people of color speak, when you're seeing those images on TV and it's so easy to dismiss them or to think about how awful the violence is, or, oh, don't they know? Or maybe you're like one of my friends who's been posting quotes from Martin Luther King all day, a white friend who's all day yesterday and today has been putting up these quotes from Martin Luther King Jr. as a way of sort of saying, hey, remember what Martin Luther King said, violence is not the answer. It's really racist. It's a really racist thing to do. You have no right, we have no right to usurp Martin Luther King and water him down and use him to make us as people who are white feel more comfortable. To remind people who are of color, who are super hurting, who have been beaten down time and time again and are so frustrated and can't quite figure out how to express that frustration, to use Martin Luther King's quotes, misquote him, misuse him, to silence people of color. Don't do that. Don't do that. Here's what you can do. Be quiet. Be quiet. Open your ears. Listen. That's what we need to do right now. People of color need to be heard. White people need to be quiet. We need to stop thinking that we have answers, that we can fix. We need to be quiet and listen, really hear. Hear the pain, hear the anguish, hear the frustration, hear and begin to understand the way that we have played a role, whether we have been active or passive, being passive doesn't get you off the hook. It's still racism. So I'm going to invite you today. First, I want you to take comfort. Take comfort and joy that First Christian Church, our building still stands. There has been no harm done. We are here looking good, sheltering many, many people, offering a safe place. We are respected in the community as a safe place for all people, and that's fantastic. Yay for us. It's good. We can celebrate that. It's what we should be doing. It's what we should be doing with the resources, the privilege that we have. And now, let's be quiet and listen. Let's be quiet and listen. Stop commentating on what's happening. Of course, we don't like violence. Of course we don't. Of course we'd like to see a better way. But it's not time for us to start quieting and squelching voices who need to be heard. That's the best way you can be an ally today. Simple, right? You can do that. Listen, be quiet. Listen. Listen to what our sisters and brothers of color are saying. Listen, even when it's hard to hear. Listen. Then and only then, when we've truly heard, when we've truly been quiet and turned that center, that microphone, that attention, when we've turned it over, when we've stepped out of the limelight, the privilege of our limelight, and handed the mic over to those who never get it, and we listen, then the next steps will come. But for now, let's just listen. Peace, the peace of Christ that passes all understanding. Don't pretend you understand when you don't. I don't pretend. Let's not pretend to understand when we don't. The peace of Christ that passes all understanding be with you, be with us. Amen.